Live streaming is on.
Anyone ready?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, we are here.
All right, so everybody should vote real quick. Get that done. And we can kind of see where everything's at.
I'm here.
So is anyone voting or?
I voted. Yeah.
Okay, but no one else wants to. I don't think Mel's here anymore. I think we lost Mel.
No, I'm here. Let's see. Let's see. I took a break.
Cool. Does anyone else? I mean, Joyce, did you want to vote? Ate, Mamoon, Mop?
Let's see.
We are on line 132.
Okay.
I'm not sure if we really need to actually do like a final proposal here, because again, this is very preliminary since we don't even have a nonprofit budget and we can't, it's impossible to pay someone out of a budget that doesn't even exist. In this context, it's the same thing with like Stacy's automatically getting basically fired in like days because we don't have a budget. But we can still vote. Also, I did mention here that obviously has to be approved by the HR board, just like any other budget proposal. So whatever does get approved would go to the HR board. And sometimes you have to make executive decisions on upfront pay. People need it quickly. We could just deal with that side of it. But just so you know, my particular preference, Alberto, is my preference would be you to not cut your budget and to increase your budget. I don't like the idea of people cutting their budget and asking for back pay. It doesn't make any sense. People should be asking for the pay that they need first and foremost, and then if they need additional pay, they can do additional pay. But I don't like the idea that you came to the whole team, wanted to cut your budget, for everybody to keep other people in, and then now coming back and saying that you actually didn't cut your budget.
Yeah, I mean, I had some contingencies, so I'm not going to go into the details, but I mean, as I said, if it's possible from the, I mean, obviously, as I said, I cut my for-profit budget. Obviously, then I mean, it's I understand it's my fault as well that the work didn't get done for the non-profit budget. Like looking forward to then have a non-profit budget. But I also didn't understand how that worked, and I got clarifications. But then you said we could start pay people from the non-profit budget, so I thought about it, but then it's fine.
Yeah, but you probably would. Like my recommendation is that if you want to get paid more money, you should increase your pop. And I made it clear when you decrease your pop, there's no guarantee that is just going to like magically turn into more money. Like you need to make it clear, like you shouldn't be decreasing your pop more than you want to get paid. So
No, I know. I also my pop. I cannot do anything before March, April. So
well, but you can do that now. You can update your pop for March, April now.
yeah, but I'm not gonna do that because I mean the for-profit budget cannot sustain it. I cut my budget because I
But
want.
again, the whole idea that everything's separated, that there's this total separate amount of money for the nonprofit, that's this totally separate thing. It's just not really how it is, though. Like that whole concept is not correct.
No, I understand it's not separate, but we also know that we have more flexibility with the nonprofit funds, right? So.
Yeah, but flexibility is simply saying that we don't have to cut the budget, but that doesn't mean we can just grow the budget, make it bigger, and inflate it, right? There's a big difference between not having to cut and needing to grow.
No, I agree that, but I mean, we also understand that we wanna uh, we wanna manage to release the funds for the nonprofit budget because we are in a situation that it's very difficult to. This is a typical situation where we should be investing, right? Because we are launching, we're going big time, so this is a period where we need to push and invest. So we are cutting because the for-profit fund is just has reached its limit, right? Also because it's paid so much for the nonprofit over the years, but we also understand that.
Right? If we were doing the work, we'd be in a much better position right now, but we're not doing it.
I understand that, yeah, and I understand that this proposal, if passes, will only be paid once the nonprofit budget is up. Right? I'm not looking forward to get this money tomorrow. Right? I understand that. The nonprofit budget needs to be set up. We need to have the board set up and everything. So I understand it's going to take 1 month. Maybe I will not need it anymore. But I mean, I'm planning.
Okay, but just remember that 30 minutes times 6 people is 3 hours that we just spent on this. Okay, so I think it's great to be pre-planning so far in advance, but I'm just making sure it's clear that we're spending a lot of time on this. So, in the context of the average out here, the top answer got $188, and this I don't think we need to vote on this because it's like there's no budget to vote on. So I would just say that proposal would be the option number 1 for when we're dealing with the nonprofit budget. So we would add that into the nonprofit budget as one option. I don't think on this anymore. I think it just automatically gets proposed into the nonprofit budget when we have a nonprofit budget, but it's almost impossible to vote on something that doesn't exist right now. If you want, we can vote on it now and see what happens.
It's okay.
Okay. It's okay. So I think that this would be the line that is obviously the priority. All right.
Yeah.
Cool. Any other questions from anybody in terms of this? Otherwise, I think we're ready to move on and get into the other work. All right, I think we're good.
Ready to move on. Thank you, guys. Sorry for taking so much time. I appreciate it.
No, it's perfectly fine. It's perfectly fine. I mean, this is everyone's right is to be able to propose into the budget. The only problem here is obviously we just don't have a budget. So if you're proposing into something that doesn't exist, it's kind of a dead end. But again, it comes back to just doing the work for the CCC budget and all that. Also, let's check at our focus at outcomes. For me, the priority for me would be to, if I was serious about wanting to get paid, it would be prioritizing the CCC budget and board setup as opposed to prioritizing paying me out of a budget that doesn't exist.
Yeah, I was just trying since I have some contingencies, but I mean, it's not. Also, it makes more clear everything about the nonprofit budget as well. All right. Anyways, I don't want to take any more time. Thank you, guys.
But I mean, for me, the main question is do you need more money? Because this is I don't know when we'll be able to pay you out of the nonprofit budget. Whether it's going to be, I don't know, weeks.
What I need is the payrolls to go efficiently, but this is not happening, right? So then I finished my tracking hours and I saw that I accumulated $1,250 of back pay this last month, And so I remember you said, all right, we can also, if we don't have the board set up, we can also start, since the budget is only one, you made the clarity. And you said we can start paying people if it's not Mel and I, because you as board members, we need, of course, the board and everything to be set up properly. But you said we can start paying people from the non-profit budget already. So I have some contingencies, and I made an attempt, obviously, but I see that this attempt is too complicated. So it's okay. I have other sources of income and other ways to take care of my contingency without weighing without being a weigh on our budget, which is
Yeah, but I think what's clear here is that if you need money, like it's not up to you to decide where the money comes from. It's up to the team, right? So as far as I'm concerned, as a team, we are required to vote on exactly the same proposal from the for-profit budget and address
exactly. This is what I want to say. But I see that. I mean, obviously, I know where the money comes from. The team knows it, and as you can see, all right, even though this option one, there is not an option that passes. I mean, this option barely passes. So the team is clear on this, right? So it's okay.
Yeah, but I still think that it makes sense to go ahead and vote on the for-profit option. So line 49 to 160, 149 to 160.
No, it's okay. It's okay.
This is not you don't control this process. This is the team. If you're bringing this up to the team, it's
okay. I understand. I understand. Okay.
So it's not up to you to decide where the money comes from. It's up to the team to decide. And if we all think that if you need money, we need to send you some money now, that is not up to you to say that we can't do that. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. Thank you. All right.
So I think it's important for us to vote on this second proposal for money from the for-profit budget that we could pay immediately. So we can pay this immediately. Every dollar would come from the for-profit budget. We're required to get documentation. Now has it been itself approved by the HR board. Okay, so it also needs to fit into the budget. Obviously, we're trying to deal with that, but I think that it's still a perfectly applicable vote in terms of creating a vote here that is. So let's make sure we're voting on that as well. And then I think we're ready to move on to life support. So Joyce, Ate, Mel, Moss, and the Moon, do you have any questions about this second vote? So for me, the main reason why the second vote is important is because Alberto's asking for money. We have no idea when we could be able to pay him from the nonprofit budget. So if we're saying we want to pay a couple $100 from the nonprofit budget, we could easily handle paying a few $100 from the for-profit budget, work it out as a team, get him at least a little money now, and then we can pay him more money from the nonprofit budget when we get that set up. Because a few $100 is not going to break the bank, and it's not, it's difficult, but it's like I'd rather cut some bills or something like that and make sure Alberto gets paid. You know what I mean?
All right.
So if there's no questions, we'll come back to this when everybody votes. So everyone just vote on this now, and then we can come back to it. All right. Yeah. So let's go on to life support, Charlie.
Life support. Yeah. So life support, Jay. We had a topic yesterday with Joyce, which was Joy and I. At the end of the session, we spent about 30 minutes there. And I mean, there is obviously a lot of confusion in general with the document and things, but we made some good progress. What really I would use this time for is one thing that we wanna absolutely try to get done before the session is the CLN metrics. Right, so we like to create a voting form a voting form, right, for the CLN metrics to send to all the invitees. BLN, yes, sorry, basic life needs metric. And sorry, I got confused with CLN nonprofit. So I couldn't find, and also remember when you did the training to me, I got those notes back when you did the beautiful training on the life support session to me. And you remember we couldn't find any document with the responsibility organizing on how to create the BLN matrix. So maybe we can just do it now, right? Create the BLN matrix, or even if it's not perfect, like a start that we wanna try to put in a voting form and send out to the invitees or to the participants, maybe.
So the reason why there's something organizing doesn't exist because no one ever took on the work and did it, right? We never did that work. So, but anyways, stepping back here, we need to look at all of the priorities for the Life Support Alliance and make sure we have clarity on what we want to do.
Okay.
For limited time. So, I mean, I think it's great to do the BLN matrix, but no one ever prioritized it before. We've never done it before. I mean, we have a voting form. The voting form already exists, right?
The intake form, you mean?
No, it's the BLN matrix voting form. It's not an intake form.
I don't know. I couldn't find it. But I don't. I
It's
looked
not
also back the notes when we did the training. I remember we were looking for it. We couldn't find it.
Okay, well we can go through that and get it to you. It's not a problem, right? But for me the problem is that we don't even have anything scheduled. Nothing is happening currently. There is no schedule. There's nothing happening. I feel like you're skipping ahead.
Yeah, I mean, Joyce and I mean, we said we were gonna try to schedule. Of course, today it's a very full day. We looked at the schedule. Today is a very full day, so we want to try to schedule possibly tomorrow. I know the time is very short for Saturday, but I mean, yeah, there's no schedule at the moment. Correct.
Yeah. So we have Saturday. So for Saturday, the question is, what can we prioritize for Saturday? I think the priority is
the list of invitees for sure.
Yeah, understanding, organizing the responsibilities, right? So I feel like there's still not clarity on the responsibilities and how inviting people into the program, right? Is it one responsibility, and then inviting people to the session, right, is a separate responsibility, and inviting, / reminding, it's really the same thing, right? And then you have scheduling the session, separate responsibilities. So for me, that's where the problems are coming in, is that everyone's just working on one thing and there's actually many, many different responsibilities.
Yeah. Yeah. Correct. These are different responsibilities.
So I have here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's probably at least 7 to 10 responsibilities under the life support program, and that's not including the website and the showcase.
Yeah, for the scheduling, Jay, we want to use, just to make sure, I mean, you already said it, but just to double check, for the schedule, we want to send out this voting form, right? Updated, of course, but I mean, that's what we want to do. Right? That's the way to schedule for the life support session.
Have we updated it?
No, we haven't updated yet. This is the link that you shared yesterday via email.
So, I mean, if that's the number one priority, if you guys don't know how to do that, then you should ask questions about how to do that.
Well, the I mean, I think that there is things that are definitely not applicable anymore. So maybe we want to do it more simple, right? As you can see, I mean, I understand obviously doing a voting form to make some options for the session. That's what we want to do, right? I don't, here it says name, vote code. I don't think we have a vote code anymore. or is this applicable?
Vote codes should go on all of our voting forms. That's just like standard. So if you're not putting voting codes on our voting forms, like you should do that. It's just like a standard way to verify any vote. When you're doing online voting and you want to have security, that the vote code is the security. So you just hand out the vote codes, and then everyone has the secure way of voting.
Okay, I haven't read the responsibility organizing for this kind of voting form, but I mean, do we want to try to? I mean, we already know that the meeting should happen.
Voting have vote codes. The fact that you guys don't include a vote code just means that you're just not following our previous models for online voting. Right? If there's no way to verify somebody's identity, what they're doing, then all of the votes could be meaningless, especially in relationship to public voting. Do you see what I'm saying? Like a vote code is just a standard practice for the ability to do a public vote. Otherwise, there's no way for verification of the actual credibility of each vote.
Yeah, and this will be the first time I see this public vote, because we always use the normal voting, which is internal voting
No,
format.
it's just that whoever was doing the work deleted the vote code that was always there. Someone just deleted it, and you guys are just copying a voting form that someone else already made a mistake on. So you just add back in the vote code. It's just the vote. It's all it is the vote code. It's not a big deal, right? But
Okay.
anyway, in the context of the scheduling, I can try to find a scheduling form that is for Americas, which is a little bit more applicable as opposed to that one, which is global. But it's the same thing. You just update the scheduling form. If you guys can't do it, I can do it, or you can schedule with me to do it together. Now is obviously not a good time to do it.
Mm-hmm.
We could also schedule in other ways. We could just schedule on email and Discord and just do it that way instead. We don't have to use the voting in the schedule. We could schedule right here as a team if we wanted to. I mean, Mel's here, we could just decide.
Yes.
But it doesn't change the fact that eventually we need to do a scheduling form, because that is the policy. Because what happens is once you schedule a session, the people who schedule it have all the power, and anyone who can't make that session loses 100% of the power. So there has to be a model for how you change the schedule of the session, and that's the voting form.
Okay.
Scheduling can never happen in a real-time session, because the people who can't make the real-time session would always be included and not be able to have their input. And the whole point of the scheduling is that if you can't make the session, you want to schedule for a different time. You understand what I'm saying or not?
Yeah, I do, definitely. I mean, for this session this Saturday, I mean, the main invitee participant that we want to make sure that joins is Stacy, right? So we can.
That's your opinion. I do not in any way think that is the priority at all. I mean, I think it'd be great for Stacy to join, but again, I care about the life support program, supporting everybody equally. I think it's great that we want to support Stacy, but for me, I have no interest or need that Stacy should be supported and everyone else isn't. So if Stacy wants to come, she can, but if she doesn't show up, I just don't care. If she doesn't want to show up, that's her loss.
No, yeah, I agree with that. I expressed myself wrong. I mean, for this session, I mean, I think we already have kind of agreement in our weekly schedule that the session is going to happen on Saturday, Andromeda H3. So
we never agreed on that. We never agreed on that. Actually, that's just something that
well, when we created the team schedule, we said Saturday we would have either the live support alliance session, or if that doesn't happen because nobody is coordinating the session, then we would have the
Saturday. The primary trajectory is the pipeline experience, which is significant. Then you have the overall website priority work, and then the third one is the life support alliance planning and coordination. So it's to basically be organizing the life support until we find a home for it. If life support gets scheduled for that, it would take over, and everything else would have to be moved.
Yeah.
So I don't remember ever saying that life support is the only thing happening for Saturday, Sunday, and that it was agreed upon that that was the scheduled session. I don't actually remember that.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Let's step back then. And all right. I think for this time we can try to have
But
a
If that was
proposal for scheduling normal, or either via email or on Discord.
yeah, so if that was the agreement, then there'd be no reason to talk about scheduling.
yeah, and
Correct.
we said also that it's preferable to be on a weekend because the people will be more free. We said last time.
I mean, again, the only person who's ever scheduled for life support wanted to meet Wednesday afternoon. So, in theory, it kind of makes sense, but nobody else who's ever wanted to schedule for our life support alliance ever scheduled for any other on the weekend ever. And we've been doing this for like 5 to 8 years. So I think we're trying to, consider what people might want to do now. But again, until the schedule is done, we just shouldn't make any assumptions. Let's just do the work. Like, scheduling should not be complicated. You just follow the scheduling responsibility organizing, you do the work and you get it done, and then you know when our schedule's going to be, and you can change it to any other future schedule. If you don't know how to do the work, then that's what we should be talking about.
Yeah. Let's step back and talk and
And if you
focus
guys
on that.
don't want to do the work, I can do it instead.
No, we want to do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Or do you think that we should not prioritize the schedule and prioritize something else?
I mean, I would prioritize the list of invitees first. Right? I would go through here the list of responsibilities that you just put in line 14. Right. So the first one is the list of invitees.
Okay.
So and
So
then
prioritize the list of invitees. Okay. But so this is inviting people into the program.
exactly, yeah. So this is the first step that I would focus on. And then if we get that done, we can.
What is the outcome of the step?
The outcome of the step is to know who participates in the program.
Okay, but how do you do that, right? So that would be like a goal. So the goal is to know who is participating in the program. But what does that look like? What's the form that takes?
I would have a spreadsheet where we list all the people that we invite, and then
No, we're not communicating people on a spreadsheet. People are not going to a spreadsheet. How do you actually know that someone's participating? You can't go to a spreadsheet and know anything. You can write on anyone on a spreadsheet, but it's not going to be based on what somebody is confirming.
the work is outreach. So we would get first we need the contacts. I mean, first we need the list of invitees. Then we need their contacts, email contacts. Ideally, we created also that Pinda folder and with the spreadsheet where we are gonna save all the contacts. And then we would draft an email, an invitation.
Yeah, exactly. So it all comes down to an email, an invitation, an actual email / written invitation. That's the output. You get it?
Okay. Yeah.
The output is the email, because that's
Okay.
all that will actually exist from this responsibility. The responsibility will be the email. The email is then sent out to 10 people, 25 people, 100 people, 1,000 people. It doesn't matter how many people you send it out to. And then you're going to receive a response back based on the responses that goes into this follow-up spreadsheet. Okay, but the actual output is the email, right? As far as like you're actually doing something, that's what matters, right?
Yeah.
Logging the follow-up is the follow-up. The follow-up never ends. It's just like constant. There's not an output. Follow-up is not an output. It's just like this constant, always need to be updating. Whereas the email is actual output.
Mm-hmm.
So
Okay.
the only question is what is going to be in the email and what do we want the email to say? And that is where you get into the question of what do we need to do before we can send the email out. Does that make sense?
Okay. So we have no website at the moment for the live support, or do we have something that we can maybe?
There's that old web page that I showed you before, remember?
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
Can you send the
Don't-
link again so I can see it?
yeah.
Wait,
I
just a
mean,
minute.
it's not like a web page. But we're going to do a whole new showcase web page for the whole Life Support Alliance. Yeah. This is super old. This is just on the Community Life Network. So Community Life Network, and you just click on our lives. And then this is the life support page. And again, I've been trying to get the life support program organized for, I don't know, a decade or more. And I just have not been able to get anyone to really take it seriously and step up and actually organize it with me and schedule for it regularly. And it has happened a little here and there, but even paying people still has never happened. So I'm hopeful eventually we'll get it going. But again, I don't care what people really want to do and what they're excited about or whatever. It's just like the work just needs to get done. Right? I've been waiting for 10 years trying to get people to do this, and 5 years paying people to do it, and it's still not happening. So it's like, just do the work, follow the responsibility organizing, set it up, and then it should happen forever after that. If all we just focus on, we just want to have fun with ourselves and we just want to schedule a session for Stacy and want to do this, it's just going to fall apart and not work anymore because we're not actually focusing on the work. We're focusing on just the outcomes and communicating and enjoying ourselves. Right? Do you see the difference?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So
Yeah,
I think we should definitely include this. I mean, what we have at the moment. So this is cool, anyways. I mean, it gives you a good introduction. Then of course we know we need to create a new showcase website and everything. But for the moment, I would definitely include this in the email. This link.
If we do include it, we could make it clear that it's from 10 years ago,
Yeah.
and really older than that. We're actively working on a new updated site.
Yeah, I agree. Make it clear. Oh,
Remember, we're not sending this out publicly. We're just going to send it out internally to all the people that we already know we want to invite.
yeah, exactly. For the moment.
In fact, Joyce, don't you have invitees list already that we could copy and paste and take a look at?
Yeah, just a minute.
Yeah, let's copy and paste the invitees list that we currently have. And again, the work for the invitees list is just, asking to make sure it is updated. So again, the fact that we've been asking people for so long to do this and no one's going to do it, no one ever does it. It's like, you have to actually ask the question, is this list correct? Is it updated? Right? And if you never are asking the question, you're never ever doing the work. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So people, so we have 4 people currently. So obviously this is not, right? And this is only for org support. I think we have here. Yeah, so this is the people for org support. So we're missing the list of people for life support. So one thing you could do is you could say just like, Life Support Alliance. So I'm kind of going towards that name to kind of combine Life Support and Support Alliance into one name.
Yeah, we're already changing everything with that name.
And I also, I mean, if anything is it would be this, the Life Support Alliance. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
What else would be the? So,
because
anyway,
it's applicable because we are the only ones who are doing that. So it's okay if we put the Life Support Pro Alliance.
And plus it's like it's the alliance, right? But it's the Life Support Alliance. Anyway, so the point here is that you could put a branch here and you could say, Aaron was mainly focused on org support, right? And as far as space, we were mainly focusing on for life support, right?
Mhm.
So it just depends on each person and what focus they might be interested in. Or you could have both, right? You could also say here, org support on the top, and then you could have life support. I don't know. I think it'd be easier just to like have one. You just have one that says branch. And for people who are into multiple, you could put multiple. You know, so Stacy also has her animal idea that she could get help with. So we could have her involved in org support and life support. You know, depending on how we want to set it up. And so then, for example, most people here would be like personnel support. So for me, when I have life support, org support, personnel support, whereas some people are just personnel support. I think technically speaking, Stacy is also personnel support.
You can also add David too.
He's there.
He is on line 63.
Oh, okay, I see. And Bissette maybe someone that's someone in the past. So maybe like.
All right. So anyways, we can start getting this list together and a little bit more organized. And I think a lot of people are doing personnel support here.
Who is that name?
Bissette.
Bissette?
Yeah.
So the question would be like, what would be inviting Bissette into, like which program? But we could just invite her to the overall program. It's like perfectly fine.
Yeah. Was previously supported with life support.
So Mel, you would be doing org support and life support for now.
Okay.
And David would be life support, org support, right? I feel like life support is kind of like a given, automatic almost, you know?
Yeah.
So we could just delete life support because life support is sort of the foundation of everything. And then it's like, okay, are they interested in additional branches to life support? Because
Okay.
like life support, I feel like it's like automatic, you know?
Okay.
So for Bissette, it would be fine to have an empty thing here because we invite her to the life support program, and then over time, she might be interested in additional branches. Cool. But either way, we still haven't answered the question nor asked the question, and so eventually we can get back to that, whoever decides to take on that particular responsibility. And you could separate the list of invitees and have that a totally separate responsibility from the actual invitation. You know, I think that is not a bad idea.
No, I'm stepping up to take on all the responsibilities, inviting this, that, schedule the session, biometrics.
That's
all,
fine. Just make sure to leave
all
room
this
for
list.
others too. Be sure to leave room for other people too.
I'll join you.
Great,
Hey,
thank you, Ate.
So I think
And-
my understanding is that Joyce, Ate, and Alberto are all interested in working on life support online.
Yes.
Yeah.
And obviously, I'm working on it too. I mean,
Add me as well. Add me as well.
Mamoon.
All the responsibilities, Mamoon, or
Well, no, we need to break down the responsibilities, but no one's even created their responsibilities. That would be the manager's role, right? The manager needs to pick people who are interested in working on the program and break it out into all the responsibilities. The responsibilities aren't even organized yet, and we're not even like really clear on what's going on. Does that make sense?
yeah, I'm using for the moment. I'm using this list that you created in line 15, which at least we know that these are going to be included. This responsibility, inviting people into the program.
But I would recommend adding a separate responsibility of
Setup.
Just organizing the list of invitees. So this is kind of step 0. It's sort of step 0. It's like setting it all up
Setup,
and
yeah.
getting it organized, because if you're not even doing that, then everything else that happens with the follow-up will be broken. You never ever complete the actual list of invitees, then if people just are already falling through the cracks before you even start.
Yeah.
Which is the whole problem, which over and over and over again we've had that.
Okay.
So anyways, we could spend hours and hours on this, but if you guys understand the basic premise, I feel like we should move on to the draft email and more details about what is going to go in it. So you made it clear that you want to put in information about the program and possibly even link information about it, but there's got to be more than just that in email.
Okay, yeah, let's. I think I'm clear on the for the moment on the responsibilities. I would definitely go more in detail in the email.
That's what I'm asking us to do. So what
Yeah,
would
I
you
agree.
in the email?
Okay.
So right now, so list of what to include in email. So we said information about the life support program. So maybe link to old website. So that's one thing that could go. What else could go into the email?
Yeah. So I would definitely include the link with the specifications. So I'm gonna put it here.
The what?
The link with the clarification to make it clear that it's in old outdated from 10 years ago and that we're working on a new showcase website.
Of course, yeah. But what else do we want to include? We already covered that. What do we want to include in the email?
The schedule.
Okay, and
the options.
What options?
Options for this. I mean, first of all, the options if you want to have it weekly, one time per month. I mean,
okay. So
anytime.
basically, the line is that you would want scheduling into the email because that's where we are right now, right?
The thing is that we already know all these people are participating because first we are mixing. I think we're mixing two responsibilities here, right? Because one responsibility is to invite the people, and then to join the program, and then to know who is joining the program, and then based on who is joining, we would then send another email or the voting form, and eventually with this to do the scheduling.
Yeah.
But we can.
I feel like the reason why it overlaps is because you want to include some type of status update about what is currently going on with the program. So for example, if you're going to invite people to the program today, that might look very, very different than if you invite people to the program 5 years from now. The invitation email will have different information based on the current status of the program and what's happening. Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally.
So for me,
we can write
yes,
a little paragraph.
There's overlap between the drafting of the email and the scheduling responsibilities. But the reason why maybe there should be overlap there, and the reason why I was focusing on the scheduling being the priority, is because it seems like that should be included as part of the invitation.
Yeah.
I think for the moment, yes, absolutely, yes.
And it's only because the current status of the current status of the program is that we have no schedule. So if this was a month ago in the past, we wouldn't need to do that because a month ago we had a schedule. It was Wednesday afternoons for California time. So in that context, we were able to just directly tell them about what's going on with the current schedule. But in this context, we don't have that. So we would include the scheduling process, right?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And I think before the scheduling process, you would talk about basically formal invitation to the program itself, right? It does not require real time sessions. Right? So basically you're inviting to the program, we want them to join the program, and if they do join the program, they don't actually have to schedule. Does that make sense?
Yeah, they're not required to come to the session.
So
they can be in the program without coming to the session.
Yeah, so then the last question here really is just like, how do we formalize the final process of joining the program? Like, what does it mean to join the program? Obviously, it's we want a yes from them, but what else do we want besides just a yes?
Yeah, we want to
Would you
clear.
be interested to join our life support program or organization support program?
Yeah, and what if they say yes, I'm interested? Then what? What do we want them to do? Like what action? Because it's one thing saying yes, but what action do we want them to take that
We could
makes their yes mean something?
create an email list.
Okay, to join an email list, exactly. So they join a communication space. That's really all that matters, is that they're actively communicating. So, options for communications, for example, email lists. If they don't want to do email lists, they could do Facebook group. They could do Discord. They could do, even LinkedIn. I mean, it doesn't matter where they want to communicate. We just want to make sure we're communicating with them. They could even do text thread if they wanted. We could set up a text group. So the point is that if they're not communicating with us, it's very hard to support them. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yes.
So we want to give all these options already.
I would say that we want to at least have one option, right? But we could make it clear, like let's say all we do now is the email group, right? Which I believe we already have a couple email groups set up. We just need to get the then we have to make it clear in the email, like, hey, if you don't do email very well, we can easily send you a link to Facebook or other groups or other options for communication. Just let us know if the email group doesn't work for you. Does that make sense? So if we just want to include one, that's fine. But we should also include, if this doesn't work for you, let us know. We will set up whatever communication model works for you. Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that basically takes the cake. I think that's pretty much all that would be required. I think the only other thing that is necessary that's not really applicable to essential information, but it might be illegal, is that there is like legal disclaimer and policies involved that it would be good to just make sure upfront and out of the way. For example, that the program is public, right? That the program is public. If you want a private therapy session or private organizational support, that's called client work and you pay for it. Right? So what we're asking people to do is that if you want free support, we will help you, but your problems are exactly the same problems as everybody else in the world. And so we're sharing the solution so that when we help one person, potentially we could be helping thousands of people simultaneously because other people have the same problem. We document it, we broadcast it, we have it on our website, and other people get access to solutions that work for them, even if they don't attend the session. Does that make sense?
5 minutes break.
That's the value of them not paying us. So basically, if they don't want to pay us, do it in private, they are giving us the ability to help more people by making it public.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
We need to take a 5-minute break.
Okay, 5-minute break. All right, cool. So I feel pretty good about this. Let's take a 5-minute break. We'll go over it again. And then obviously what needs to happen is this all needs to get organized into clear responsibilities, and then to get the responsibility organizing spreadsheet. 5-minute break. When we come back, the next topic would be, after we finish this, the Prime Umbrella website priority, getting organized.
Yeah, I'd like to add something after the break.
Yeah, we're not done with the life support yet, but we're getting towards the end. So 5-minute break, and then we're gonna come back. We're gonna continue on life support, and then after that, we're gonna jump into the Prime Umbrella organizing.
Okay. 5-minute break.